10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. And liftoff. May the force be with us.
Stage 1 chamber pressures are nominal.
Vehicle is pitching downrange.
Welcome aboard to Towpath Properties launch program. Everything you need to get started in real estate at our brokerage will be included in the following lessons. First off, let's go over our mission, vision, and core values. Towpath Properties, we are a full-service real estate company providing the finest real estate services. We strive every day in every transaction to reflect our pride in our company, ourselves, and each other, and in the people and communities that we serve. Through our knowledge, integrity, and innovation, we're able to participate in our customers' realization of the American dream. It's all about the positive experience we provide. Our vision points: to be recognized as the highest quality, most professional real estate services company in every market we serve. To provide an unparalleled, innovative, and comprehensive real estate service to each client, thus creating a lifelong relationship. To foster learning, teamwork, mutual respect, and personal excellence within our company. To welcome change and embrace diversity. To cultivate the optimal financial growth and stability of the company and our associates. And to lead and serve with integrity, pride, and enthusiasm in all we do. Our core values: we answer the phone between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., or we get back as soon as possible. We do not ghost anyone. If there's a problem, we address it and find mutual solutions as soon as possible. We're proud of being easy to work with for our sellers, our buyers, our cooperating agents. We provide solutions. This is how we add value. There are a number of launch tasks you're going to have to take on as a part of the launch program. Number one, you maintain a positive attitude. Stay away from negative people. Keep your mindset in a positive direction. Meet with your manager to create your business plan. Tour 75 homes in your first 45 days. That may be tough given the current inventory, but I would recommend touring as many homes as you can in the areas that you plan on serving. Create your database. You need to have your wedding list. It should be 250 people or more. That's your sphere. Those are people you're going to be calling and asking for, basically asking if they have any questions about real estate and if they know anyone who needs to buy or sell now or in the near future. Attend an open house with your manager. 5-5-10 a property that recently sold. What's a 5-5-10? So you have a property that's sold. We take the 5 houses to the left of that house, the 5 houses to the right of that house, and then 10 houses across the street. And we send a postcard, put a door hanger up, make a phone call. If you're using Vulcan 7, you can do the geo search, get the phone numbers. You even door knock them and introduce yourself as a local agent and tell them that you had more buyers available for the property that sold and that you'd like to set up a time to discuss the value of their home. Number 7, don't need to really say a whole lot there. Dress for success. Make sure you're representing yourself and the company well. Talk to your manager every day if possible, or schedule a time each week so that you can just touch base and make sure your manager knows what's going on with your listings and your buyers. Make a systematic plan for your listings of for sale by owners and expireds. I have scripts available for everyone, and I think I've made those available. If you need those, please contact me or your manager, and we'll get those to you. Build your profile on the MLS, Zillow, Realtor.com, and anywhere else that you're going to have a public-facing marketing page. It's important to fill out all those profiles completely and get any reviews placed out there so that people can see those. Develop a system to incubate the leads you receive. So it doesn't matter whether it's a file folder where you have past clients, or whether you keep it in an Excel spreadsheet, or if you're using a CRM or Monday.com, or you can get as advanced as you'd like, or keep it as simple as you like, but you need to have some type of system so that you have your leads, even sticky notes on your desk. It's not the best, but as long as you have some type of system where you're not just dropping leads that come through. Become familiar with the MLS Realist and the county auditor's website. Take control of your calendar. It's going to be the thing that, the one who sets the most appointments wins. So go through the practice on the paperwork of listing your own home, and then go through the practice of all the paperwork on selling your home. Do not forget to do the sales checklist and the listing checklist. Those need to be filled out every time you do a listing or a sale. And that provides the information so that we can do the escrow letters and things of that nature without having to traipse back through or make 15 phone calls to find out contact information. Make a mind map of the buying process. If you need help with this, let me know. And make a mind map of the selling process. They're different. And the mind map, as you map them out, you'll see the differences, and you'll be able to actually use that mind map when you're doing your listing presentation or when you're doing your buyer presentation. Now let's hear a word from Coach Tom Ferry about activating your goals.
Hey, welcome back to the show. We're continuing on from last week's Ultimate Success Formula. Last week, we broke down a lot of very specific numbers. I want to remind you, people that are vague, they get punished because they don't know what they want. And the people that are very specific about what they want, they get rewarded time and time again. Call it the law of attraction, call it the reticular activating system, call it just clarity of purpose. The bottom line is this: if you're going to make the next 14 months the best in your career, you've got to have specific goals. Now, the second part of this, it's one thing to say you got to have goals, thinking about the late great Zig Ziglar. Here's the key though. You've also got to align your behaviors. So if you imagine these are your goals, and in many cases, these are your behaviors. People are always asking me, Tom, how do I bridge the gap to align my behaviors with my goals? And I say it's very simple. You've got to activate your motivation, your reason to get out there and take action. Now, you're going to see that there's a lot of exercises you can do. Every year, I like to take myself, my family, and all my friends through something just as simple as this, looking at the circle of your life, doing a little gut check, a little be honest, a scale from 1 to 10. In 8 equities of your life, how are you doing right now? How are you doing? And just getting honest. Now, when you get honest with yourself about your health and vitality, about your finances, about your relationship, about your career, one of those is going to activate some pain for you. And you're going to be like, oh man, I'm sick and tired, or that's really painful. I don't even want to discuss it. That's good, because you know what that is? That's the beginning of that kindle, that fire that's going to get you going to go do the things you need to do to align your behaviors and achieve your goals. So find that pain. And I'm going to then challenge you to look at the next one, where we actually say to ourselves, all right, I've got 12 months. I've identified in each one of these areas kind of where I'm at. Where do I want to be in the next 12 months? What would inspire me? What would be worth fighting for, doing something different, getting better, improving myself? So I list out some goals for my family, for my career, for my finances and wealth, for my health and vitality. And I get very specific, as we mentioned in that first part, about what it is that you want. And once you do that, not asking you to do it right now on this show, but instead, I want to take the time to think about it, to dream, to fantasize and say, hey, if 2021 was just bonkers, if it was bananas, if it was one of my best years ever, what would I have experienced? What would I have achieved by the end of next year? And I list it all out like crazy. I always think of one of my best friends on the planet, my brother-in-law, Steve Belmonte, who's the chief revenue officer of our company. We've been friends for 27 years. I took him to one of his very first seminars where he did a goal-setting workshop like this. And though he was always productive and powerful, a great salesperson, he had never really been exposed to the art and science of goal-setting. We were at a Brian Tracy seminar a gazillion years ago in Los Angeles. And as Brian always would do at the end of the seminar, he'd say, now get out your notebook and write down your top 10 goals for the next 12 months. And I looked at Steve, and I was immediately writing, and I'm dating myself. I think I opened up my Franklin Covey day planner, and I start listing out my goals, and I see him, and he's looking over at mine, and he's looking over at his, and he's writing them out, and he gets stuck around 7, 8, and I'm like, well, what about? And he's like, okay, and he finishes the 10, and then I say, hey, Steve, tomorrow at the office, bring that in. I'd like to see a copy of it. And I had to put it on the copy machine, and I 3-hole punched it, and I put it in my Franklin Covey planner for 12 months from now. And guess what? Now I know he had his goals, but I had those 10 goals 12 months later. I get there, I open it up, I call him, hey man, come to my office, and I sit down with him and I say, you were smart enough to write all that stuff down 12 months ago at that Brian Tracy seminar. Let's see how you're doing. Hey, are you living in a new house? He's like, I'm living in a new house. I bought that new house. I'm like, right. I'm like, are you spending all that time with your pops? He's like, I spend every Thursday with my dad and sometimes on Sundays. 9 out of the 10 goals that he listed out, he achieved 1 year later. Why? Because people that are specific about what they want get rewarded, and people that are vague, they get punished. So let's not have this year go by where you don't declare how you want your life to be in 2021. In those 8 categories and more, it's up to you. Then I like to take you out 5 years in the future and say to you, hey, you know what? We have a tendency to really overestimate what we can do in 1 year and dramatically underestimate what we can accomplish in 5 or 10 or 20 years. But play a game and say, hey, you know what, the next 5 years, how good could my life be if I really put some concentration on it, if I really put some focus there, if I just keep chipping away at it, making the calls and doing the work and showing love and appreciation and following through and doing my exercise and everything else, what could I do? And by creating these goals, what happens is now the tension between your goals and your behavior starts to, I know I've got to do more in order to make that happen. So I start with that, but then I ask you to do the following. I say to you, once you have those goals written out, I dare you to take the time inside of the Ultimate Success Formula to grab a pen or write it out in Evernote or however you do it, 20 reasons why these goals are a must for you. Why is it a must? And I want you to really get energized. Some of them are going to make you upset. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. The man told me I can never do it. Screw him. I'm going to do it. Some are going to be inspiring. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to buy my mother a house. I want to be able to do this. All of those reasons why give you the motive for action to close the gap. Do you understand that? Do you understand that the people that I know and you know that set goals and don't achieve them because their behaviors are over here, don't close the gap with the motivation, the reasons why, and that's what I want you to do. That's the second part of the success formula, to close the gap on motivation. Then I'm going to ask you to consider, who would you do it for? If not you, who might inspire you? I could share hundreds of stories of men and women I've worked with over the decades that have literally said, I'm going to build, I'm going to donate money to my church. I'm going to build a building and I'm going to donate it to the YMCA. I'm going to buy my mother a house, and so many others, because many of us, we will simply do more for others than we will for ourselves. The bottom line is, all I'm trying to do, now that you've decided from last week, this is how many listings, this is how many sales, here's my average sales price, here's how many appointments, I know exactly what I want to do. I got to get those behaviors over here, and we close the gap through your motive for action. Now, let's look at the next part. The third part of the Ultimate Success Formula is to get a simple plan together. Simple plan together. Do you want a complex plan or do you want a simple plan? I like simple plans. So let's take a look. The first thing I say to you is, once you decide on your transaction goal, you recognize that this business, like all business, is a math equation, and math is the language of business. So what we know is, I got to talk to people, I got to book so many appointments, I got to go on so many appointments, I got to get some signed contracts, and I'm going to close some deals, and that's how I achieve my goal. But wouldn't it be great to know with total certainty how many people, how many appointments, how many closings, and actually make the business predictable? That's what I'm doing here. So what I know is this. Let's say you want to sell 12 or 24 or 48 or 72 or 5,000 transactions in a year as a team. It all comes down to, how many people do you need to talk to on a daily basis in order to guarantee that success? Well, having been a coach in this industry for as long as I have, I can tell you absolutely, every 50 people you talk to, you get a closing. Every 50 people you talk to, you get a closing. Now you're like, hey Tom, I'm a brand new agent, so I talk to 50 people and I can just go, hey, 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 50 times and I get a closing? No. You have to call people, you have to have conversations about real estate, you got to answer questions, you got to discover their problems, you got to see if you can solve them, you got to book appointments, you got to follow up. The game is, it's a contact sport. I need to talk to a lot of people to absolutely guarantee my success. So I put down, just for an easy number, let's say you want to sell 24 homes next year. That means, if I times that by 50, I've got to talk to 1,200 people in 1 year. Now, our studies show that the average person in typical times, when we could be out and about, social, football games, soccer games, out at restaurants, is going to talk to 50 people a month, 75 people a month. Some people are really social. They talk to 100 people a month. And typically, if you wear your company name badge, they're going to come prospect you and they're going to say, hey, you're in real estate. How's the market? Do those count? The answer is 1,000% yes. But you're missing one of the most important elements. So I'll get to that in a sec. So the first thing is just to acknowledge, I'm going to have to talk to more people to guarantee my success. Then I say, what I want you to do, you see there on the slide, is divide it by 10 months. Now I know you say, wait a minute, Tom, there's 12 months. I know. And I also know holidays, days off, time off, need a break, go to an event, get some training, get sick, don't get sick, but you know what I mean? Like life happens. So I say, you're better off doing it on a 10-month cycle and shortening and increasing your daily number to guarantee your success. So I say 10 months. That means that's 120 people you need to talk to every single month. They can't be the same 120 people, in case you're wondering. So it's got to be some new people, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Now, I then say, let's divide that by 20. So you're like, hey, I want to do 12 transactions next year. Okay, well, that's great. You got to talk to 60 people a month, right? It's that simple. You want to do 24. Hey, I got to talk to 120 people a month. I want to do 48 transactions. You got to talk to 240 people a month. It's a math equation. That's all it is, my friends. People aren't math, but the business is a math equation. So what does that mean? On 24 transactions, I got to talk to 6 people a day, 5 days a week. Everything else beyond that is a bonus. It's a bonus. So that means your daily number is 6. Now, let's just say your average commission is $10,000. And let's say you close 24 transactions. Let's call that $240,000 a year in income. Is it worth it to talk to 6 people a day to make $240,000? Do me a favor. Why don't you run down to your local college and start posting up billboards saying, make 6 calls a day, earn $240,000, and watch how many people call and say, how do I do that? The reality is you're taking your average sales price in this business for granted in most cases. I go back to, what do you want? Do you want to pay off your debts? Do you want to save more money? Do you want to put yourself in a better financial situation? Is all of that worth making 6 calls a day? Conversations, not just calls. The answer is, of course it is, right? I go back to Emerson's famous quote, do the thing, have the power. Do not the thing, have not the power. You got to decide. I challenge you, right? As I challenge all my clients and friends, we've got a choice to be an achiever or someone that underperforms on their potential. An achiever or someone that underperforms on their potential. You've heard me talk about it before. Your daily number is a battle between you and the resistance, the voice in your head that says, you don't need to make your phone calls. You're going to be fine. You're so busy. Besides, look what's coming up. Thanksgiving's right around the corner, and I got to start working. Shut up and make your calls. You with me on this? I challenge you to look back at this year and just ask yourself, who won more this year? The resistance, the voice in your head that said you don't have to, that you're fine, and oh, those people are probably busy, don't call them, they're at dinner, and oh, they're probably dealing with. No, all that stuff, who won more? The resistance or the achiever? Think about it. In 2021, I want you, the achiever, to rise above, to stand up and become the disciplined person that I know you are, to go out and help as many people as you can and push the lever of success called picking up the phone, texting people, and having conversations, because that's the game. Now, back to the ultimate success formula. your daily number is not 6 cold calls, in case you're wondering. No, you want to divide that number in half. Half to your database and half to new people. Half to your database and half to new people. So I'm looking at 3 to my database and 3 to new people. The 3 to your database, when you talk to them, they're going to be longer conversations. It could be 10, 15 minutes long. That could take you 45 minutes. Then you're going to call 3 people that are maybe in your database, but you have no idea who they are. Those are always fun. Hey, I'm Tom Ferry, Banana Real Estate. You were recently at one of my open houses a year and a half ago. I just wanted to reach out to see, have you guys made a decision to move forward to buy a house? Can I help you? Or whatever you choose to say. The point is simply this. You have got to recognize this is a contact sport. You being afraid to make phone calls is not in your favor. That's the resistance. The achiever is dying and the underperformer is dominating in that situation. And it's time to break the pattern. It's time to break the pattern. So, 3 to your database, 3 to new people. I didn't say cold call. There's a lot of people you can reach out to, a lot of them in your database that you really don't have a relationship with, and you can start there. The key is, you're now going to say to yourself, I'm going to build my schedule around doing the thing that gives me the power. So if you look at your ideal day, which I posted here, it says, I want you to design your day around a morning routine that fires you up. Everybody's talked about it. You know it and I know it. You don't have a morning routine that fires you up. You need to make some adjustments, things that get you juiced. Listen to something motivational, some Tom Ferry shows, something else. But don't watch the news, right? Don't turn that stuff on because that's going to make you depressed, right? We want to get fired up first thing in the morning. The second thing we want to do is we want to get to the office at the same time, even if it means stepping out of your bathroom and into your home office at the same time, because the discipline of that, doing the thing, have the power, do the thing, have the power, versus the alternative. Then what am I going to do? Open up my laptop and immediately jump in and say, how is the market? Looking at the daily hot sheets, what new listings, what new sales, what's happening with prices, how many expires, how many cancels, what's going on, where are properties selling, where is there no inventory, studying the market as all great agents do to be the knowledge broker. So when someone says to you, well, how is the market? You can really answer that intelligently and break down each segment of the market, short term and in the past. Make sense? So do that every day. Do a little role play. Practice your scripts and dialogues. Don't do that on clients. That's not a good idea. Practice some negotiations. Practice a few objection handlers. Try a couple different openings. My new favorite one is, Tom, I've got these people I haven't called in forever. What do I say? Tristan, Tom Ferry, Banana Real Estate. We haven't talked in forever. How are you doing? Something like that. The point is simply this, my friends. Do the thing, have the power. Then you do your daily number, though it says 5542. That's just, 5 to your database, 5 new. Do 4 lead follow-up and shoot 2 videos every day. That kind of routine, my friend, that is the ultimate success formula. That eliminates all the nonsense and all the BS because you simply talk to more people, discover who's got a problem, offer your solution, bring them value, do more transactions, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Make sense? Now I know everything in between is very complex, but don't make the easy part complex. And of course, I wrote down number 4, managing your business, transactions, marketing, keeping everything all going, servicing your customers, getting and earning those 5-star reviews and so much more. And then of course, going on appointments. Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground here, but understand, I said to you, this is the ultimate success formula. So we started with doing exactly what you want. Then we said, hey, we need to align what you want with your behaviors, with your motive to act. Then I said to you, we need a simple plan. I want you to be able to say, I got to talk to 8 people every day. I got to talk to 10 people every day. I got to talk to 4 people. I got to talk to 48 people. But you got to know that, like getting in your car when it's on empty, you got to fill the gas tank, right? That's making the calls. That's doing your follow-up. It's doing the work that gives your engine everything it needs to go accelerate into your business and go out and crush it. You got to do it. And you think it doesn't matter when you don't do it? It matters. You and I both know it. The one call you didn't make is the one person that, well, they just bought a house from somebody else. It happens every single day. You know it and I know it. So the daily discipline is the key. Now, the last part of the ultimate success formula is to track and measure your results and do it visually. I've said for years, Pearson's great law, when you measure performance, performance improves. When you measure performance, performance improves. You want to lose weight? Get on the scale every day take a photo and post it on Facebook. And after a while, people are gonna be like, hey, congratulations, or why are you doing this? You keep putting on weight, or you've stayed even. Stop eating bad food, eat more good food. Hey, let's exercise together. Now you might say, whoa, that would be extreme. But what do we know? My son says to me, Dad, I want to get into college X. I say, that requires a GPA of Y. You're currently at Z. And he says, I know, but I don't like doing homework. And I say, no one does, son, but instead, why don't we create a little accountability where we meet every couple days and we just look at your GPA and we look at your homework and we follow up. And you know what happens when you measure performance? Performance improves. And he got into the college he wanted to go to, and he was able to turn it around because he started tracking and measuring. Tracking and measuring is the key. What do I want you to do? Between now and the end of the year, I want you to get an appointment setting board up on your wall, because you know you got to do 4 buyer consultations to 1 closing. You got to do 2 listing appointments to 1 closing. And you know you want to do 24 transactions, and it's half buyers, half sellers. It's a math equation. You know you need to talk to 6 people every day. What if all of that was up in visual, monthly, quarterly, and for the year, and you tracked and you measured and you held yourself accountable, you had it at your home, you had it at the office, and maybe, just maybe, you tell your spouse, when I do all this, I earn that much money and we save this much. But if I don't do this work, we don't get all the money and we go more in debt. Boy, if you want to talk about accountability, it will happen instantaneously. Use your coach, use your manager, use someone, but get it up and get it visual. Remember, vague people get punished and life rewards the specific ask. So that's the success formula. Now you know what to do. There are no excuses. I'm asking you to get into massive action. Make a comment below, let me know what you think, share this with a friend, and hey, you've been watching this for a while now. Have you gone to my Google page and written a review? I'd love it if you would. Just Google Tom Ferry, find my page, and give me some feedback. Let me know how I'm doing. I appreciate you always. Hey, it's November. We got 44 days left. You got plenty of time to do everything I just said and start flexing that muscle of success. I'll see you next week. Remember always, your strategy matters, and now more than ever, your passion rules.